Welcome to Tech with Kaushik. This is part 10 of our complete practice question series for the AIF-C01 AWS Certified AI Practitioner exam. Choose your answer before the timer ends, then review the correct answer, explanation, and exam tip. Let us begin part 10. Approach question number 254. By checking every constraint. This question focuses on cost and performance. Pay attention to qualifiers such as least, most, and minimum. An agricultural cooperative uses an ML model to analyze historical weather and crop yield data to generate a single forecast report on the first day of every month. The inference process takes several hours, but there is no requirement for real-time predictions. Which Amazon SageMaker inference option is the most cost-effective for this monthly workload? Eliminate every option that violates even one requirement. Consider option A, batch transform. Consider option B, real-time inference. Consider option C, serverless inference. Consider option D, asynchronous inference. The best answer is A, batch transform. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Amazon SageMaker batch transform is explicitly designed for scenarios where you need to process large datasets offline and do not require immediate, real-time responses. Because the job spins up compute instances, processes the entire dataset, outputs the results to S3, and then shuts down the instances, it is highly cost-effective for scheduled, intermittent workloads. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. B. Real-time inference requires an endpoint to be running 24/7, incurring constant hourly costs even when sitting idle, which is highly inefficient for a job that runs only once a month. C. Serverless inference is meant for unpredictable, intermittent web traffic with small payloads. It has strict timeout and payload size limits, making it unsuitable for processing large datasets for hours. D. Asynchronous inference is for long-running payloads, up to 1 GB, that arrive dynamically, but batch transform is the native, cheapest tool for a scheduled offline job. Watch for this clue in similar questions. For offline, scheduled processing of large datasets without real-time requirements, always use SageMaker batch transform, batch inference. For question number 255. Separate the requirement from the distractors. Identify the decisive constraint before considering the options. An autonomous driving startup is an existing Amazon SageMaker ground truth customer. It needs humans to draw bounding boxes across thousands of video frames and wants an external specialist provider to supply and manage the labeling workforce. Which current approach should the startup use? Compare the options by fit, not by familiarity. Next, option A, create an Amazon SageMaker ground truth labeling job and select a vendor workforce from AWS Marketplace. Next, option B, use Amazon SageMaker Data Wrangler to transform the video frames. Next, option C, use Amazon Transcribe to generate object labels from the video audio. Next, option D, use Amazon Macy to classify the video frames. After elimination, select A, create an Amazon SageMaker ground truth labeling job and select a vendor workforce from AWS Marketplace. The decisive reason is Amazon SageMaker ground truth supports video frame labeling jobs and can send labeling tasks to a vendor-managed workforce selected through AWS Marketplace. The vendor supplies and manages the external workers. B. Data Wrangler prepares and transforms data but does not provide a human labeling workforce. C. Amazon Transcribe converts speech to text. It does not draw bounding boxes. D. Amazon Macy discovers sensitive data in Amazon S3. It is not a computer vision labeling service. Exam strategy. Ground truth manages labeling workflows and supports public, private, or vendor workforces. A vendor workforce is appropriate when an external provider should manage the labelers. Question number 256 contains an important exam distinction. Next, we enter the topic of ML learning types. This scenario tests whether you recognize the controlling constraint. A machine learning engineer is determining the correct algorithm task type for 3 different predictive projects. Select the correct ML technique that corresponds to each task. Solve the blanks one at a time. Do not carry assumptions between them. The first blank appears in an application evaluates an exam response and predicts whether the answer is exactly correct or incorrect. The blank. Choose the stronger fit from 1. Binary classification, multiclass classification, or regression. The second blank appears in an application evaluates historical real estate data to estimate the continuous future sale price of a home. The blank. Choose the stronger fit from 2. Binary classification, multiclass classification, or regression. The third blank appears in an application analyzes a photograph of a vehicle and identifies it as one of 50 possible specific makes and models. The blank. Choose the stronger fit from 3. Binary classification, multiclass classification, or regression. Question type, drop down. The correct answer is 1. Binary classification. 2. Regression. 3. Multiclass classification. Here is why this answer is correct. Binary classification predicts one of 2 outcomes. Regression predicts a continuous numerical value. Multiclass classification predicts one class from 3 or more possible categories. Answer rows. 1. An application evaluates an exam response and predicts whether the answer is exactly correct or incorrect. Select vertical bar binary classification vertical bar. The target has exactly 2 possible classes. 2. An application evaluates historical real estate data to estimate the continuous future sale price of a home. Select vertical bar regression vertical bar. The target is a continuous numerical value. 3. An application analyzes a photograph of a vehicle and identifies it as one of 50 possible specific makes and models. Select vertical bar multiclass classification vertical bar. The model selects one class from 50 categories. Here is an important exam tip. 2 classes indicate binary classification, 3 or more classes indicate multiclass classification, and a continuous number indicates regression. Work through question number 257. Step by step. First, locate the key operational constraint. A cloud architect is designing a retrieval augmented generation (RAG) workflow using Amazon Bedrock. The architect needs a service to store the text embeddings generated from the company's internal documents so they can be retrieved via semantic similarity search. Which AWS service provides the required vector database capabilities? Use the scenario constraints to assess these choices. Choice A, Amazon OpenSearch Service. Choice B, Amazon SageMaker Ground Truth. Choice C, Amazon Transcribe. Choice D, Amazon Textract. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is a Amazon OpenSearch Service. This option satisfies the complete requirement because in ARAG workflow, documents are converted into vector embeddings. These embeddings must be stored in a specialized vector database capable of performing high-speed similarity searches to find relevant information. Amazon OpenSearch Service natively supports these vector database capabilities. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because B. Amazon SageMaker Ground Truth is a data labeling service, not a database for storing embeddings. C. Amazon Transcribe is a speech-to-text service. D. Amazon Textract is an OCR service for extracting text from images and PDFs. It does not store vector embeddings. A useful exam pattern is this. For our AG architectures on AWS, embeddings are stored and searched using vector databases like Amazon OpenSearch Service or Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL PageVector. Question number 258. An AI practitioner is reviewing datasets for various machine learning tasks to ensure they are using the correct terminology. Select the correct data type format that applies to each use case. Treat each blank as a separate decision and choose the best fit. Now solve statement 1. A natural language processing model is trained to determine the positive or negative sentiment of customer product reviews. The blank. The candidates are 1. Image data, tabular data, text data, or time series data. Now solve statement 2. A machine learning model is trained to identify the brand of a car from a traffic camera photograph. The blank. The candidates are 2. Image data, tabular data, text data, or time series data. Now solve statement 3. A regression model estimates a customer's lifetime value based on structured columns containing age, income, and past purchase amounts. The blank. The candidates are 3. Image data, tabular data, text data, or time series data. Now solve statement 4. A forecasting algorithm predicts next week's warehouse inventory requirements based on chronological historical sales records. The blank. The candidates are 4. Image data, tabular data, text data, or time series data. Question type, drop down. The correct answer is 1. Text data. 2. Image data. 3. Tabular data. 4. Time series data. Here is why this answer is correct. Sentiment analysis processes text. Computer vision processes images. Structured rows and columns are tabular data. Chronologically ordered observations used for forecasting are time series data. Answer rows. 1. A natural language processing model is trained to determine the positive or negative sentiment of customer product reviews. Select vertical bar text data. Vertical bar product reviews are natural language text. 2. A machine learning model is trained to identify the brand of a car from a traffic camera photograph. Select vertical bar image data. Vertical bar the input is a photograph. 3. A regression model estimates a customer's lifetime value based on structured columns containing age, income, and past purchase amounts. Select vertical bar tabular data. Vertical bar the features are organized in structured columns. 4. A forecasting algorithm predicts next week's warehouse inventory requirements based on chronological historical sales records. Select vertical bar time series data. Vertical bar the observations are ordered and indexed by time. Here is an important exam tip. NLP uses text. Computer vision uses images or video. Structured rows and columns are tabular data, and forecasting commonly uses time series data. Next is question number 259. Scenario. A business analyst with no programming experience wants to experiment with generative AI. The analyst wants a free, web-based playground to build, test, and share simple AI applications using foundation models without deploying infrastructure. Which AWS tool provides this experimental environment most cost-effectively? The choices are: Choice A, Amazon Bedrock Party Rock. Choice B, Amazon Q Developer. Choice C, Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart. Choice D, Amazon Q Business. The correct choice is A, Amazon Bedrock Party Rock. The requirement to solution match is Party Rock, An Amazon Bedrock playground is a free, web-based, hands-on environment designed specifically for individuals with no coding experience to experiment, build, and share simple generative AI applications using foundation models. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. B. Amazon Q Developer is an AI coding assistant integrated into AIDs for software engineers. It is not a drag-and-drop app builder for non-coders. C. Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart is an ML hub for deploying models into VPCs. It requires some technical knowledge and incurs infrastructure costs. D. Amazon Q Business is an enterprise AI assistant connected to corporate data. While user-friendly, it is an enterprise tool, not a free, open experimental playground. For experimental, free, no-code, and playground generative AI application building, the answer is Party Rock. Next, question number 260. We are moving to foundation models. A marketing firm needs to generate thousands of readable, high-quality blog posts and product descriptions daily. The generated text must be coherent, maintain long-range context, and exhibit a consistent tone. Which underlying neural network architecture powers the large language models best suited for this text generation task? Options. Option A. A transformer-based model. Option B. A variational autoencoder, VAE, model. Option C. A diffusion model. Option D. A generative adversarial network, GAN, model. The required response is A. A transformer-based model. Transformer architectures, which utilize self-attention mechanisms, are the foundational technology behind modern large language models, LLMs, like GPT, Claude, and Titan. They are uniquely capable of understanding long-range context and generating coherent, high-quality paragraphs of text. Now eliminate the distractors. B. Variational autoencoders, VAEs, are early generative models typically used for generating simple images or compressing data, not for high-quality, coherent text generation. C. Diffusion models are the state-of-the-art architecture for generating high-quality images, like Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, not text. D. Generative adversarial networks, GANs, are primarily used for generating synthetic images or deepfakes, not for robust natural language text generation. Remember this decision rule. Modern text generation, LLMs, is equal to transformers. Modern image generation is equal to diffusion models. Question number 261. Find the decisive clue before choosing. Look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. A research hospital is building a machine learning model to predict the likelihood of patient readmission. The training dataset consists of thousands of historical patient records, where each record includes an explicit target value indicating whether the patient was actually readmitted within 30 days. Which machine learning approach is the hospital using? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Next, option A, supervised learning. Next, option B, unsupervised learning. Next, option C, reinforcement learning. Next, option D, semi-supervised learning. The best answer is A, supervised learning. The key clue points here because supervised learning trains a model using input features paired with known target labels. Here, each historical patient record includes the correct outcome indicating whether the patient was readmitted within 30 days, so the model learns from labeled examples. The incorrect choices are plausible, but unsuitable because B, unsupervised learning finds patterns in data without target labels. C, reinforcement learning uses actions, rewards, and trial and error rather than a static labeled dataset. D, semi-supervised learning combines a smaller labeled dataset with a larger unlabeled dataset, The scenario describes labeled records. Use this elimination rule in the exam. When every training example includes the target value the model should predict, the task uses supervised learning. Move to question number 262. This question moves us into generative AI basics. Review the scenario. A developer notices that when they send the exact same prompt to a large language model multiple times, the model generates slightly different phrasing and word choices in each response. Which characteristic of generative AI models causes this behavior? Review the options. Option A, non-determinism. Option B, hallucinations. Option C, accuracy. Option D, multimodality. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is A, non-determinism. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Generative AI models are probabilistic by nature. Because they select the next word based on probability distributions, influenced by parameters like temperature, passing the exact same prompt multiple times will often yield slightly different responses. This inherent variability is known as non-determinism. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. B. Hallucination occurs when the model confidently generates false or fabricated information. It does not describe the general statistical variance of word choices between invocations. C. Accuracy refers to factual correctness, not the variance in output phrasing. D. Multimodality refers to a model's ability to process different data types, like text and images, simultaneously, entirely unrelated to probabilistic variance. Watch for this clue in similar questions. The inability of an LLM to guarantee the exact same output for the exact same input every time is called non-determinism. Question number 263. Tests careful elimination. Pay attention to qualifiers such as least, most, and minimum. A financial analyst wants to build a predictive model to identify customers likely to default on loans. The analyst has the historical data in a CSV file but does not know how to write Python code or configure ML training scripts. Which AWS service or feature allows the analyst to build and deploy this model through a visual, no-code interface? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Consider option A, Amazon SageMaker Canvas. Consider option B, Amazon Recognition. Consider option C, AWS Depressor. Consider option D, Amazon Comprehend. After elimination, select A, Amazon SageMaker Canvas. The decisive reason is Amazon SageMaker Canvas provides a visual, point-and-click interface that enables business analysts to build, train, and deploy accurate machine learning models using their tabular data without needing to write any code or possess deep ML expertise. B. Amazon Recognition is a pre-trained API for image and video analysis. It does not allow you to build custom predictive models on CSV data. C. AWS Depressor is a 1/18th scale race car used to learn reinforcement learning. It is not an enterprise tool for building predictive models. D. Amazon Comprehend is an NLP service for text analysis, not a tool for building predictive tabular models. Exam strategy. Building predictive ML models without writing code always points to Amazon SageMaker Canvas. Let's break down question number 264. The focus now shifts to foundation models. Review the scenario and identify what must be achieved. A digital marketing agency wants to automate the creation of short promotional video clips from text descriptions and reference images. The agency wants to use a foundation model on Amazon Bedrock to generate the video files directly, rather than generating individual images and manually editing them together. Which model on Amazon Bedrock is explicitly designed for video generation? Check each option against the exact requirement. Option A is Amazon Nova Reel. Option B is Amazon Titan Image Generator. Option C is Amazon Nova Canvas. Option D is Amazon Nova Pro. The correct choice is A, Amazon Nova Reel. This option satisfies the complete requirement because Amazon Nova Reel is a foundation model in the Amazon Nova family natively available on Amazon Bedrock that is specifically designed to generate high-quality video clips from text prompts and reference images. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because B, Amazon Titan Image Generator creates static images from text prompts. It does not generate video files. C, Amazon Nova Canvas is designed for advanced image generation and editing, not for generating moving video. D, Amazon Nova Pro is a highly capable multimodal model optimized for complex text, reasoning, and coding tasks, not specifically for direct video file generation like Reel. A useful exam pattern is this. Match the Amazon Foundation model to the task. Titan Image Nova Canvas is equal to images. Nova Reel is equal to video. Nova Pro Premiere is equal to complex text and reasoning. Question number 265. Scenario. A development team licenses a large language model that was pre-trained on a massive corpus of internet text. To make the model better at answering IT support tickets, the team further trains the model using a curated dataset of 2,000 labeled prompt and response examples. Which phase of the foundation model lifecycle does this targeted training represent? Compare. Option A, fine-tuning. Option B, data selection. Option C, pre-training. Option D, evaluation. The required response is A, fine-tuning. The requirement to solution matches fine-tuning is a stage in the foundation model lifecycle where a pre-trained model undergoes additional training using a smaller, highly curated dataset of labeled examples. This process slightly adjusts the model's weights to adapt it to perform a specific target task, like answering IT support tickets, with much higher accuracy. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. B. Data selection is the phase before training where data is gathered and cleaned. It is not the act of training the model. C. Pre-training is the massive, initial, computationally expensive training phase where the model learns language fundamentals from terabits of unlabeled internet text. D. Evaluation is the phase after training where the model's accuracy is tested against benchmarks. Training a model from scratch on unlabeled data is equal to pre-training. Adapting an existing model using a small labeled dataset is equal to fine-tuning. Now tackle question number 266. Identify the requirement in this scenario. An AI developer is testing different ways to construct inputs for a foundation model to improve output accuracy and reasoning. Select the correct prompt engineering technique for each description. Complete every statement by matching the requirement to the option. Statement 1. Identify the clue in submitting a prompt that includes 3 to 5 examples of the desired input-to-output format before asking the model to process a new input. The blank. Eliminate between 1. Chain-of-thought prompting, few-shot prompting, or zero-shot prompting. Statement 2. Identify the clue in submitting a prompt that instructs the model to explicitly explain the intermediate steps it took to arrive at a final answer. The blank. Eliminate between 2. Chain-of-thought prompting, few-shot prompting, or zero-shot prompting. Statement 3. Identify the clue in submitting a prompt that asks the model to perform a task using only its pre-trained knowledge, without providing any examples. The blank. Eliminate between 3. Chain of thought prompting, few shot prompting, or zero shot prompting. Question type, drop down. The correct answer is 1. Few shot prompting. 2. Chain of thought prompting. 3. Zero shot prompting. Here is why this answer is correct. Few shot prompting provides several examples in the prompt. Chain of thought prompting requests intermediate reasoning steps. Zero shot prompting asks the model to perform a task without examples. Answer rows. 1. Submitting a prompt that includes 3 to 5 examples of the desired input-to-output format before asking the model to process a new input. Select vertical bar few shot prompting vertical bar several examples demonstrate the desired pattern. 2. Submitting a prompt that instructs the model to explicitly explain the intermediate steps it took to arrive at a final answer. Select vertical bar chain of thought prompting vertical bar the prompt requests step-by-step reasoning. 3. Submitting a prompt that asks the model to perform a task using only its pre-trained knowledge without providing any examples. Select vertical bar zero shot prompting vertical bar no task examples are supplied. Here is an important exam tip. Zero shot uses no examples, one shot uses one example, few shot uses several examples, and chain of thought requests intermediate reasoning. Next is question number 267. We are moving to responsible AI. Scenario. A company is developing an AI application to help approve or deny personal loans. The application must follow the principles of responsible AI. Select the correct responsible AI principle that corresponds to each action. Use the context of each statement to select its drop-down value. For the first statement, evaluate, the engineering team ensures the AI system's training data is encrypted at rest and inference traffic is isolated on a private network. The blank. Compare 1. Fairness, privacy and security, or robustness against the requirement. For the second statement, evaluate, the data science team analyzes the model's predictions to ensure it does not discriminate against specific demographic groups. The blank. Compare 2. Fairness, privacy and security, or robustness against the requirement. For the third statement, evaluate, the QA team tests the model against adversarial inputs and unexpected edge cases to ensure it does not easily break or behave erratically. The blank. Compare 3. Fairness, privacy and security, or robustness against the requirement. Question type, drop down. The correct answer is 1. Privacy and security. 2. Fairness. 3. Robustness. Here is why this answer is correct. Encryption and private connectivity protect data confidentiality. Comparing outcomes across demographic groups assesses fairness. Testing adversarial inputs and edge cases evaluates whether the system remains reliable under unexpected conditions. Answer rows. 1. The engineering team ensures the AI system's training data is encrypted at rest and inference traffic is isolated on a private network. Select vertical bar privacy and security vertical bar. These controls protect data and network traffic. 2. The data science team analyzes the model's predictions to ensure it does not discriminate against specific demographic groups. Select vertical bar fairness vertical bar. The team is checking equitable outcomes across groups. 3. The QA team tests the model against adversarial inputs and unexpected edge cases to ensure it does not easily break or behave erratically. Select vertical bar robustness vertical bar. The tests assess stable behavior under stress and unusual inputs. Here is an important exam tip. Privacy and security protect data, fairness examines differential outcomes across groups, and robustness tests reliable behavior under stress or unexpected inputs. Now tackle question number 268. A company wants to use instruction-based fine-tuning on Amazon Bedrock to teach a large language model how to write emails in a specific corporate style. How must the training dataset be formatted to support this fine-tuning job? Choice A. Samples of pairs of input and output messages. Choice B. Samples of only input messages. Choice C. Samples of only output messages. Choice D. Separate samples of input and output messages. After elimination, select A. Samples of pairs of input and output messages. Instruction-based fine-tuning requires a labeled dataset. To teach the foundation model a new task or style, it must be shown exactly how to map a specific input, the instruction, to the desired target output, the response. Therefore, the training data must consist of paired examples, typically formatted in JSON lines, .json. Now eliminate the distractors. B. Providing only inputs gives the model nothing to learn. It does not know what the correct response should look like. C. Providing only outputs, unstructured text, is used for domain adaptation, continued pre-training, not instruction fine-tuning, as it doesn't teach the model how to respond to a specific prompt. D. Providing separated, unconnected files breaks the explicit mapping required for the model to learn the relationship between a prompt and its correct response. Remember this decision rule. Instruction fine-tuning always requires a dataset formatted as input-output, prompt completion, pairs. Question number 269. Find the decisive clue before choosing. Identify the decisive constraint before considering the options. An insurance company has thousands of lengthy, highly technical regulatory documents. The compliance team wants an AI tool to condense these documents into brief, easily readable overviews that highlight only the most critical rules. Which generative AI capability fulfills this requirement? Eliminate every option that violates even one requirement. Consider option A, summarization. Consider option B, regression. Consider option C, clustering. Consider option D, classification. The best answer is A, summarization. The key clue points here because summarization is a core natural language processing capability of large language models. It involves taking a long, complex text, like a technical regulatory document, and condensing it into a shorter version while retaining the most important information and context. The incorrect choices are plausible, but unsuitable because B. Regression is a traditional machine learning task used to predict continuous numerical values, like housing prices, not to process text. C. Clustering is an unsupervised machine learning task used to group similar unlabeled data points, not to condense documents. D. Classification involves assigning a predefined label, for example, legal or HR, to a document. It does not generate a readable overview of the content. Use this elimination rule in the exam. Condensing long documents into brief overviews is equal to summarization. Question number 270. Review the scenario. A data scientist is giving a presentation on the differences between machine learning paradigms. The scientist needs to provide a classic example of unsupervised learning. Which scenario accurately represents an unsupervised learning task? Compare the options. Option A. A model that groups customers based on their purchase history. Option B. A model that classifies images as dogs or cats. Option C. A model that predicts a house's price based on various features. Option D. A model that learns to play chess by using trial and error. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is A. a model that groups customers based on their purchase history. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Unsupervised learning algorithms are given unlabeled data and tasked with finding hidden structures or patterns on their own. Grouping or clustering customers based on behavioral similarity without any predefined categories is the textbook example of unsupervised learning. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. B. Classifying images into predefined categories, dogs or cats, using labeled data is an example of supervised learning. C. Predicting a specific target value, house price, based on historical features is a regression task, which is an example of supervised learning. D. Learning to play a game through trial and error by receiving rewards, scoring points, is the definition of reinforcement learning. Watch for this clue in similar questions. Finding patterns or grouping unlabeled data, clustering, is unsupervised learning. Predicting a known target, classification regression, is supervised learning. Start by identifying the requirement in question number 271. Start by separating the facts from the requirement. A marketing team is tracking the performance of a new generative AI product recommendation engine on its e-commerce application. Select the correct business metric for each specific evaluation goal. Treat each blank as a separate decision and choose the best fit. The first blank appears in determine how effectively the AI recommendations are capturing user interest and generating immediate clicks. The blank. The candidates are 1. Average order value, AOV, click-through rate, CTR, or retention rate. The second blank appears in measure the financial impact of the AI recommendations on the total amount customers spend per transaction. The blank. The candidates are 2. Average order value, AOV, click-through rate, CTR, or retention rate. The third blank appears in assess whether the personalized AI recommendations encourage users to come back and use the application again over time. The blank. The candidates are 3. Average order value, AOV, click-through rate, CTR, or retention rate. Question type, drop-down. The correct answer is 1. Click-through rate, CTR. 2. Average order value, AOV. 3. Retention rate. Here is why this answer is correct. CTR measures immediate engagement through recommendation clicks. AOV measures the average monetary value of each completed order. Retention rate measures how effectively the experience encourages users to return over time. Answer rows. 1. Determine how effectively the AI recommendations are capturing user interest and generating immediate clicks. Select vertical bar click-through rate, CTR. Vertical bar measures immediate engagement with the recommendations. 2. Measure the financial impact of the AI recommendations on the total amount customers spend per transaction. Select vertical bar average order value, AOV. Vertical bar measures the average value of completed purchases. 3. Assess whether the personalized AI recommendations encourage users to come back and use the application again over time. Select vertical bar retention rate. Vertical bar measures continued use and return behavior. Here is an important exam tip. Engagement through clicks maps to CTR, spending per transaction maps to AOV, and continued return usage maps to retention. Approach question number 272. By checking every constraint. The focus now shifts to foundation models. Look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. An educational software company is building an interactive storybook application. The application will allow students to type short sentences describing characters and instantly generate corresponding artwork to illustrate their stories. Which AWS service and model combination is purpose-built to fulfill this text-to-image requirement? Compare the options by fit, not by familiarity. Next, option A, use Amazon Recognition to extract and assemble visual attributes from existing storybooks. Next, option B, use Amazon Q Business to automatically query and illustrate corporate documents. Next, option C, use Amazon Bedrock with Stable Diffusion 3.5 large to generate the artwork from text inputs. Next, option D, use Amazon Poly to synthesize an audio description of the visual scene. The required response is C. Use Amazon Bedrock with Stable Diffusion 3.5 large to generate the artwork from text inputs. The decisive reason is Stable Diffusion is a state-of-the-art text-to-image foundation model available on Amazon Bedrock. It is specifically designed to generate high-quality images and illustrations based on natural language text prompts, perfectly fulfilling the requirement for a storybook illustration feature. A. Amazon Recognition analyzes existing images, for example, detecting faces or objects. It does not generate new artwork from text. B. Amazon Q Business is an enterprise AI assistant for querying corporate documents. It is not an image generation tool. D. Amazon Poly is a text-to-speech service that creates audio. It does not generate visual artwork or illustrations. Exam strategy. For generating images from text prompts on AWS, look for models like Stable Diffusion, Amazon Titan Image Generator, or Amazon Nova Canvas on Amazon Bedrock. Move to question number 273. Identify the requirement in this scenario. A data analytics team has a massive, unlabeled dataset containing millions of raw user interactions. The team needs an algorithm to discover hidden patterns and automatically group these users into distinct, similar segments without any predefined categories. Which machine learning paradigm should the team apply? The choices are: Choice A, supervised learning. Choice B, semi-supervised learning. Choice C, unsupervised learning. Choice D, reinforcement learning. The correct choice is C, unsupervised learning. This option satisfies the complete requirement because unsupervised learning is the machine learning paradigm used when dealing with unlabeled data. The algorithm's specific task is to explore the data and discover hidden structures, grouping, or clustering similar data points together based on their characteristics without any predefined categories. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because A. Supervised learning requires a labeled dataset where the correct target categories are already known. B. Semi-supervised learning uses a small amount of labeled data and a large amount of unlabeled data, but purely discovering hidden segments without predefined labels is the strict domain of unsupervised clustering. D. Reinforcement learning involves an agent learning through trial and error to maximize a reward in an environment, not grouping static user data. A useful exam pattern is this. Grouping unlabeled data based on similarity is called clustering, which is the primary technique of unsupervised learning. Let's analyze question number 274. Next, we enter the topic of Bedrock agents. Read the scenario with the target outcome in mind. A travel agency wants an AI assistant that can do more than just answer static questions. When a user asks to plan a trip, the assistant must break the request into steps, query a live flight API, retrieve hotel data from a knowledge base, and orchestrate these actions to present a complete itinerary. Which Amazon Bedrock capability orchestrates this complex, multi-step workflow? Review the options and eliminate any clear mismatch. Option A is knowledge bases. Option B is agents. Option C is prompt management. Option D is response streaming. The correct choice is B, agents. The requirement to solution matches agents for Amazon Bedrock are designed to execute complex, multi-step tasks. An agent can autonomously break down a user's prompt, orchestrate a workflow, query external APIs, retrieve data from knowledge bases, and reason through the steps required to fulfill the user's request. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. A. Knowledge bases provide retrieval augmented generation, RAG, to search internal documents, they do not autonomously query external APIs or orchestrate multi-step reasoning workflows on their own. C. Prompt management is a tool for saving and versioning prompts. It does not execute API calls. D. Response streaming simply sends the LLM's text output to the user chunk by chunk as it is generated. It is not an orchestration engine. When an LLM needs to autonomously orchestrate workflows, use external tools, or execute API calls to complete a task, the required feature is agents for Amazon Bedrock. Question number 275. Tests careful elimination. Look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. A telecommunications provider is tuning a chatbot on Amazon Bedrock to answer billing questions. The development team has a set of 10 highly curated examples showing exactly how the bot should format its answers based on customer queries. Which prompt engineering technique involves providing these 10 examples directly in the prompt to guide the model's behavior? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Consider option A, directional stimulus prompting. Consider option B, complexity-based prompting. Consider option C, few-shot prompting. Consider option D, zero-shot prompting. After elimination, select C, few-shot prompting. Few-shot prompting is a highly effective prompt engineering technique where you provide the foundation model with a small number of curated examples, typically 2 to 10, of the desired input and correct output formatting within the prompt itself. This teaches the model the required behavior, in context, before it answers the new question. Now eliminate the distractors. A. Directional stimulus prompting provides a hint or keyword to guide the model's focus, but providing exact formatted examples is explicitly few-shot prompting. B. Complexity-based prompting involves sorting examples by difficulty, which is a niche subset of chain of thought, but the fundamental act of providing examples is few-shot. D. Zero-shot prompting provides the model with no examples, relying entirely on its pre-trained knowledge to fulfill the instruction. Remember this decision rule. Providing examples in the prompt is equal to few-shot prompting. No examples is equal to zero-shot prompting. Question number 276. Is a good test of exam judgment. This question moves us into ML life cycle. The key exam clue is contained in this scenario. A large enterprise has hundreds of machine learning models in various stages of development. The MLOps team needs a centralized repository to track model versions, manage approval statuses, and store associated metadata before models are deployed to production. Which Amazon SageMaker feature provides this centralized cataloging capability? The exam distinction is hidden in these choices. Option A, Amazon SageMaker Model Monitor. Option B, Amazon SageMaker Model Registry. Option C, Amazon SageMaker Canvas. Option D, AWS Audit Manager. The best answer is B, Amazon SageMaker Model Registry. The key clue points here because Amazon SageMaker Model Registry is the centralized catalog within AWS for managing the machine learning model lifecycle. It allows MLOps teams to store model artifacts, track different model versions, manage approval statuses, for example, approved for production, and track associated metadata in one place. The incorrect choices are plausible, but unsuitable because A. Amazon SageMaker Model Monitor is used to continuously observe deployed endpoints in production for data drift. It is not a catalog or storage registry for model versions. C. Amazon SageMaker Canvas is a visual, no-code interface for building models. It is not a central governance registry for enterprise MLOps. D. AWS Audit Manager helps collect evidence for cloud compliance frameworks like SOC2. It is not an MLOps model versioning repository. Use this elimination rule in the exam. For cataloging, versioning, and managing the deployment approval status of machine learning models, always use Amazon SageMaker Model Registry. Let's break down question number 277. Read the scenario with the target outcome in mind. A mobile game developer receives thousands of unstructured, text-based app store reviews every day. The developer wants to automatically determine if the overall tone of each review is positive, negative, or neutral to track player satisfaction. Which AI approach is best suited for this task? Now compare the choices one requirement at a time. Choice A. Use a time series algorithm to forecast future sentiment scores based on historical dates. Choice B. Use a large language model, LLM, to perform natural language processing, NLP, sentiment analysis. Choice C. Use a regression algorithm to predict a continuous numerical value for user satisfaction. Choice D. Use a recommendation engine algorithm to suggest new game features to unhappy players. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is B. Use a large language model, LLM, to perform natural language processing, NLP, sentiment analysis. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Sentiment analysis is an NLP classification task that evaluates unstructured text and assigns categories such as positive, negative, or neutral. An LLM can perform this task by interpreting the meaning and tone of each App Store review. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. A. Time series forecasting predicts values across time. It does not interpret review text. C. Regression predicts a continuous numerical value rather than the requested sentiment categories. D. A recommendation engine suggests items or content. It does not classify the sentiment expressed in each review. Watch for this clue in similar questions. Determining whether text expresses a positive, negative, or neutral opinion is sentiment analysis, an NLP task. Now tackle question number 278. We are moving to AI development life cycle. Scenario. A data science team is initiating a machine learning project to predict supply chain shortages. The team is ordering 4 high-level steps from business definition through the model's initial deployment. Monitoring and improvement will follow after deployment. Select the correct order of these machine learning life cycle steps. Solve the blanks one at a time. Do not carry assumptions between them. For the first statement, evaluate. The first step in this sequence is to the blank. Choose the stronger fit from 1. Define the business objective, deploy the model, develop and train the model, or process the data. For the second statement, evaluate. The second step in this sequence is to the blank. Choose the stronger fit from 2. Define the business objective, deploy the model, develop and train the model, or process the data. For the third statement, evaluate. The third step in this sequence is to the blank. Choose the stronger fit from 3. Define the business objective, deploy the model, develop and train the model, or process the data. For the fourth statement, evaluate. The fourth step in this sequence is to the blank. Choose the stronger fit from 4. Define the business objective, deploy the model, develop and train the model, or process the data. Question type, drop down. The correct answer is 1. Define the business objective. 2. Process the data. 3. Develop and train the model. 4. Deploy the model. Here is why this answer is correct. The team first defines the business problem and success criteria. It then collects and prepares the required data, develops and trains the model, and deploys the validated model for inference. Production monitoring and iterative improvement continue after deployment. Answer rows. 1. The first step in this sequence is to select. Vertical bar define the business objective. Vertical bar the problem, constraints, and success criteria must be established first. 2. The second step in this sequence is to select. Vertical bar process the data. Vertical bar data must be collected, cleaned, and prepared before model development. 3. The third step in this sequence is to select. Vertical bar develop and train the model. Vertical bar the prepared data is used to build and train the model. 4. The fourth step in this sequence is to select. Vertical bar deploy the model. Vertical bar the validated model is made available for production inference. Here is an important exam tip. Define the objective before preparing data, prepare data before training, deploy only after development and evaluation, then monitor and improve. Next is question number 279. A corporate IT department wants to deploy a generative AI assistant that connects securely to the company's internal wikis, SharePoint sites, and enterprise data stores. Employees will use this assistant to ask questions and summarize internal corporate knowledge. Which fully managed AWS service is explicitly designed to provide this enterprise-grade generative AI assistant? Compare the options. Option A, Amazon Textract. Option B, Amazon Q Business. Option C, Amazon LEX. Option D, Amazon Recognition. The required response is B, Amazon Q Business. The decisive reason is Amazon Q Business is a fully managed, generative AI-powered assistant designed specifically for enterprise use. It natively connects to over 40 enterprise data repositories, like wikis, intranets, and SharePoint, and allows employees to securely query, summarize, and interact with internal corporate knowledge using natural language. A. Amazon Textract is an OCR service used to extract text and data from scanned documents. It is not a conversational AI assistant. C. Amazon LEX is a service for building conversational chatbots, like customer service bots, but it requires you to build the backend logic yourself. Amazon Q Business is a turnkey, fully managed enterprise assistant. D. Amazon Recognition is a computer vision service for analyzing images and video, completely unrelated to enterprise text queries. Exam strategy. For a turnkey, enterprise-grade AI assistant that connects securely to internal corporate data sources, like SharePoint or wikis, to answer employee questions, choose Amazon Q Business. You have completed part 10 of the AIF-C01 exam practice series. Continue your preparation by opening the complete playlist and watching the remaining parts in sequence. Please like this video, subscribe to Tech with Kaushik, and enable notifications for more certification exam preparation content. Share your score, questions, or feedback in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next part.